guys, welcome back to the Kane podcast. Unfortunately, I have to start the podcast with bad news, and quick little story. So me and Big T Dog been trying to upload this video for the last two couple days, and for some reason, we can't figure out why the audio keeps crashing, and I'm starting to think it's because of his phone or my phone. We have no idea what's causing the crashes. We literally tried the kitchen sink. I tried everything. I'm out of options, and unfortunately, from now on, until we could find a different alternative, I literally I'm out of ideas. But until we can find a different alternative, it's just gonna be me doing my own personal podcast, which is fine. I know how to come up with certain topics and just talk. I'm so used to it already. But it's kind of disappointing because I would like Big T Dog to be a part of the community, and he gives a lot of insight, and it's messed up. I'm highly disappointed that this is not gonna work out right now, but it's not forever. I mean, he will be back on future episodes, and until we figure out what's the actual problem, uh, that's it. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I am starting a new segment in this in this podcast. So basically, what I want to do is I want to rip open Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh packs and see what type of rares I could pull. I think that would be real interesting. But before I get started on that, I like to show you one of my two favorite, not just Pokemon but Yu-Gi-Oh favorite cards that I have personally in my deck. These aren't my favorite Pokemons, because Pokemon, my favorite, you guys should know. I don't know if I said this before, is Scyther. Scyther is my favorite Pokemon of all time. No matter what, no matter what generation I play. And my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh is actually it's a newer one. So growing up, I used to love just love the detail of Summon Skull. He was my like favorite. When they announced Blackluster Dragon, of no Blackluster Soldier, he was actually one of my favorites. Also, I used to have the toy of him, but growing up, as a kid, everybody wanted this card, and here it is right here. So, Dark Magician, everybody loved him, and one of my favorites. And this is the original Dark Magician, not the newer version that they have of him. And here's the other one, which is my favorite Pokemon card, and it is Lucario. So I think that's cool. And so from now on, if I'm not opening packs, I'm just gonna show you two random cards, and if you guys, and then we could play a little game in the comments, and maybe you guys could win some rewards, and I'll show you like who's that Pokemon, and then I'll like the anime and cover the name and show you the card, and you guys guess in the comments. But anyways, that'll be real interesting. But yeah, but that's the first segment right now. So I wanted to so before I even get started on any of that, you guys know how we get started, and a little bit of Funko news. So Funko just announced. Also, real quick before I get started on that, I get a lot of my information from Funko Finders with a Z on Twitter and Instagram. So if you guys want to follow those him and this Funko Dis Funko Fu I mean Fu F you guys know how to spell Funko Funko this Funko on Instagram and Twitter. If you guys want to follow, I get a lot of news from them, so it's a shout out for them. And just so you guys know, I don't just try to steal somebody's content without giving them a shout out, But I got a lot of my info from them. I do get my info from other sites and Funko itself, but those are the two main people I follow, especially when it comes down to links. and actually buying the Funkos. Those two are real good to follow, and they're on top of it. Funko Pop Hunters is good on Twitter also. If you want to give them a shout out, trust me, they don't need my shout out, but they get probably got more followers than me. But anyways, the first one is the Metallic Thanos PX. He's standing on a whole bunch of skulls. They just announced Tupac with the bandana. Really looks real cool. Terminator Dark Fate Funko Pops are coming. Chatter from Hellraiser. Where's Waldo? Just recently announced. DC Gamer box. They have it's kind of confusing about that box. It has Batman, but then there's a Joker and then a Joker Chase. So I don't know what's the odds of getting any of them. But they are. It is a cheaper box. So it's like $20 a box. So who knows? But anyways, Hot Topic announced a Harley Quinn, Amazon exclusive Batman Beyond Metallic. But you have to pre-order the the set, the Blu-ray set. So previous old Batman Beyond, the show animated version. Backstreet Boys, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Emotional Deku, Date Mike from The Office. Um, so Funko just announced recently. I'm not sure if it's guaranteed, but Pop Town. So basically, like King's Landing and Game of Thrones could be made. Because Game of Thrones is one of the listed names in it. The Flintstones, probably the Flintstones house or car. That would be cool. And was the Star Wars. So something on Star Wars. So be on the lookout for that. And probably two of my, and probably a little bit controversial, not to a lot of people, but to me, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Egyptian gods. So they have 2 6 inches. Two Egyptian gods, even though there's three, and the two are Cipher the Sky Dragon, Ublease the Tormentor. Both of them are 6 inches. So I don't understand Funko's idea of making them 6 inches. I prefer them being 10 inches. I could see them in the future making 10 inches, but the rumor is too that Winged Dragon of Ra is gonna be 10 inch. Well, I don't understand why make Cipher and Obli 6 inch, and the Winged Dragon of Ra 10 inches. It is a rumor, but it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't understand why Funko will do that. But that's all I got on the Funko news as of right now. Definitely every day starting the scene, Funko's dropping news, so that's fine with me. Um, so I'm fine with that. And I know you guys are fine with that if you guys collect Funkos. But anyways, now it's time to get to the main topics, and I'm gonna start off with baseball since we've been talking about it in the last couple podcasts. So the Nationals are advanced to the World Series, and Houston is leading the series 3-1. I mean 3-2. So the Yankees won last night. It was a real good game. Uh, James Paxton was on the mound, and he dominated the Astros. He was pitching amazingly. The Yankees bats finally woke up, and I was just shocked as everyone else. So, but Houston, I got a feeling they're gonna end it tonight and advance to the World Series to play the Nationals. So hopefully we're gonna see how all that plays out. Houston can start hitting and start pitching because I believe they got Garrett Cole tonight. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But and they're back in Houston, so I don't got them losing in Houston. So that's gonna be in real interesting. So previous episode I talked about the UFC. So I'm gonna give the results to it. Dominic Reyes versus Chris Weidman. So I didn't put all the fights in there, so I started with Joe Lozon, and so Joe Lozon won by TKO. Pretty dominant performance. He put Jonathan Pierce in a half Nelson, and basically the same move that Lesnar did with Frank Mir. He put his arm under his armpit and had him flat footed, not flat footed, but laid down fully on his back, and basically you can't really do anything. You just your face is open, and then you could stretch the armpit and put it more back. So it's just a lot of pull on your armpit, which on your shoulder blade, which kind of hurts. You know, you're getting yanked back, and then you're getting punched, and you can't really block it with your left hand. I mean, it was just fantastic, fantastic position by Joe Lozon, who looked phenomenal, and it was supposed to be his kind of like his retirement fight. But after that performance, I think he should fight at least give see what happens with a different opponent, since Jonathan Pierce is kind of like not experienced like that. We'll see what happens with a different opponent, and then because I always liked Joe Lozon. Joe Lozon was one of my favorites, so that's real interesting. So with the other fight was Greg Hardy versus Ben Sauli, and I had by the way I had Lozon winning that fight, so I got that prediction right. Uh, so then Greg Hardy versus Ben Sauli. I'm probably saying that wrong, but kind of controversial because Greg Hardy had so in the third round, Greg Hardy was winning the fight. I'll give him that, and so he had this, and so he has. I guess he has some type of issue where he needs an inhaler. Uh, so in UFC, it's illegal to use a inhaler during the fight. So he's sitting on the stool. This is going into the third round. He's sitting on the stool, and he asks the doctor, "Can I use my inhaler?" The doctor says, "I don't know. Can you?" And then he's like, "Yes." And when they gave him the inhaler, he's like, "Yes, is USADA approved?" So then he uses the inhaler. He gives it back. He kind of throws it on the ground, and then gets stands back up because the round's about to start. So during the broadcast, Dominic Cruz and Daniel Cormier was like talking about it and basically letting it know like, hey, that's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. So that's what happened. So kind of real interesting to see that happen. First time I ever seen that in a fight. I was shocked about that, and man, weird, super weird. But anyways, after the fight, because Greg Hardy eventually got his hands raised, so he won the fight. I believe the committee either disqualified him or ruled it a no contest. So he was kind of mad about that. See, I know last time like I joke around when calling him domestic violence Hardy, but to me personally, the dude, I know he's improving. Uh, he hasn't shown any remorse, and he hasn't really talked about the domestic violence situation, even though he is, according to a lot of people, and I think Cormier said it in the fight, so he is showing improvement. But he hasn't really made it known. So how am I supposed to respect the dude when he hasn't really like acknowledged any of it? So whatever, it's whatever to me. But uh, he is showing improvement. Another thing too, during the fight, he was like running away, kind of like taunting Ben Sully. You're not supposed to do that, especially when you're already hated. Because when he was walking out, he was getting booed. So you're not a fan favorite. You get you booed, and you're over there taunting, and you're just making people hate you more by doing that. So he needs to loosen up, and if you want to, if you say you're getting you're trying to better yourself, don't taunt people in the octagon too, man. That's something you're not supposed to do, man. Especially since, like I said, you basically the villain right now. You're gonna get booed everywhere you go. So, but that's about it. The other fight was the co-main event. It was Yair Rodriguez versus uh, uh, Jesus, I should have written down Jeremy Stevens. So I had Jeremy Stevens winning that fight. I had Ben Sony winning that fight. The Greg Hardy fight, he lost. So then I had Stevens, and this is horrible predictions. So I had Stevens winning the fight, and then Stevens lost. I gave him the benefit of the doubt with the power, even though in the third round he had a chance to finish Yair Rodriguez but didn't. But Yair Rodriguez dominated the first two rounds and proved his dominance. Jeremy Stevens, I don't know why I keep trying to call him Wonder Boy, but Jeremy Stevens couldn't finish and eventually lost that fight by a split decision. And the last fight was a good fight. Um, it was uh, uh, Jesus Christ, I can't. Chris Weidman versus hold up. I do know the name. So Dominic Reyes. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so it was so Dominic Reyes came out and he did this nasty it was like halfway through the fight in the first round. He did this nasty step back and punched him. Bam! Knocked Chris Weidman onto the floor and then followed up with some nasty hammer fist. Boom, 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 and the fight's over with. Quick fight. For sorry for Chris Weidman, but I did have Weidman winning, so I failed on that prediction too. Not a good prediction card for me, but hey, I told you guys previously, I'm not gonna get a lot of. I'm real bad at predicting. I could, excuse me, I could guess a lot of them, but last night wasn't good. But anyways, I want to talk about some movies right now. So if you guys don't know, and I can give good insight because I'm more of a comic book guy, and I do love like heroes and villains. I'm probably way more than BigTdog, so I could give you guys more insight on them. But anyways, Paul Dano got announced as the Riddler. I think that's a fantastic move. He is an Emmy Award winner, and if you guys know him from the movie There Will Be Blood, he did a fantastic job in that movie. Jonah Hill eventually turned down a role in the Batman movie. And this is Christopher Reeve's Batman. Um, so yeah, he turned down a role. I don't know if he was supposed to play Penguin or he was supposed to be Riddler, but he turned down the role, which is real interesting. But that's okay. Jay and Silent Bob came out and supposedly it was getting good reviews. So if you guys want to check that out, it's the remake of Jay and Silent Bob. So you want to check that out, go watch that. Maleficent came out and a lot of people aren't too hot on it, and I could totally understand. A lot of people are saying you got a movie named Maleficent and there's no Maleficent in the movie. So I totally understand that. You got Zombieland that came out. Zombieland Double Tap is supposed to be part two of Zombieland. Apparently, it's okay. Just another version of Zombieland One. Real interesting too because I did like Zombieland One. I had my good times with it. Also, fan favorite Korg. Take Wahidi, the director, said Korg would be back in Thor: Love and Thunder. So if you guys love Korg, fan favorite is back. Then Jada Pinkett Smith got announced. She's returning in The Matrix, which is real interesting. And Neil Patrick Harris got a surprise role, so we don't know if he's gonna play Agent Smith or if he's just gonna play another role. Also, The Rock was talking about Black Adam, and I believe it is in production right now. So that's real interesting too. So definitely want to look out for that. But now I'm gonna switch it up to some games because I want to talk about some games. And a lot of people are giving their impressions on Star Wars, the Jedi, Star Wars Fallen Order. Uh, it's the new Star Wars game that's coming out, and it's supposedly open world. It looks amazing. Uh, People are talking about like the boss fights in it, and I'm excited for it, man. I've been dying for a Star Wars game. I've been trying to catch up on the movies. Apparently, I've been doing it wrong, but still, my first time watching the movie. So, and I kind of like in the movie. So, getting into that Star Wars hype. So, apparently, Pokemon. If you guys get the Game Informers every issue, so if you go to GameStop and you buy the subscription uh, to earn points, You basically get this Game Informer magazine that comes sent to your house, just a simpler way to put it. And so basically, so you get this magazine, and this for November's issue was Pokemon Sword and Shield, which comes out, I believe, November 15th. Uh, which I cannot wait for because there's certain like mechanic. Like when I was reading the magazine, there was a part where they talked about competitive Pokemon. So it's like using your favorite Pokemon in competitive mode, which is real interesting because I never really got into the competitive scene in Pokemon. Just didn't really understand it, and for them to say that is real interesting because I know so basically if you got like if you don't know competitive, they found a way, some type of mechanic to get people who are not into competitive mode. So it's like saying, for example, say you got Bulbasaur who's not really that good in competitive, basically getting one shot all the time. They found a way to make Bulbasaur competitive, which is real interesting. And I think it's gonna drive in new fans, or I don't know how it's gonna fit for like hardcore fans into the series, but then we'll see when it comes out. But I found that real interesting, and I probably might get into competitive myself after learning about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna save a big topic I want to talk about in this podcast. I'm gonna save that one for last, so that'll be the last thing I talk about. And trust me, you guys want to stick around for that because I got some. I'm gonna give everything I have. So, but anyways, yeah. So with yeah. So anyways, guys. So I wanted to also give my insight to So about like tattoos. So if you guys don't know, when I'm doing videos, sometimes you guys could see some tattoos that I have on my body, and I'll talk about them right now. So I got like a blue panther right here. It's actually the same type of tattoo my father had before he passed away. So he had a black panther on his arm, and I got mine's blue. So to for him, and he had it in the same spot, so I got mine in the same spot he had it. His favorite color was blue, so I put it as a blue panther instead of a black panther. So, and panthers is one of his favorite animals. So, it's kind of like I don't know if it's just Chicago, but like an older man thing. Like for some reason, like in the '80s, a lot of men were tattooing panthers on their, not just their arms, but like on their body. And so I never really understand why, but probably like a Black Panther thing. I'm not sure, but Wakanda forever. No, I'm just joking. But I hope nobody takes that out of context of what I just said. But anyways, a grizzly bear on my high left shoulder. I got that because in high school they used to call me Grizzly, especially like on a football team. Because when I would tackle people, it looked like a big grizzly bear tackling them. So that nickname just stuck with me through high school and growing up as a kid. And then I have a skull bandit on my right arm, and not a good particular tattoo, but I got it. I hopefully one day I could probably remove it because it's not a tattoo that I'm proud of, but it's not even like the story. It's kind of like the story behind it, but it's not a good looking tattoo. I mean, it's probably one of my worst looking tattoos, so I'll definitely have to fix that. And I also have a Lord of the Rings tattoo on my forearm. So that's all the tattoos. But in future tattoos, like future ideas, I love to get. So I'm a huge fan of The Witcher. So I would love to get like a chain, like a medallion chain that he has in the game. So when he would run into monsters or anything that like magical, his medallion would hum and it would vibrate. So I would love to get that type of tattoo, but it like humming, like that would be cool. I would love to get that. But anyways, but yeah. So now I'm just gonna get into open topics. So So I want to talk about esports right quick because before me and Big T Dog, before we ended the podcast for last episode, he told me that the esports is going live today, which is real interesting. So if you guys want to check out the MLB esports, there's certain rules. Uh, no, I mean, so I know previously I told you about the rules. So apparently, you're allowed to get two players who are so you're creating your own team. So basically, two players that are 92 or through 95 ratings, and they're batters. I believe he said batters, pitchers, and bullpen arms. Just two of them, and then the rest is either gold or below. So that's gonna be real interesting. And they're 3 inning games. So if you guys want to check out that out, you guys could check that out. Personally, my favorite esports. I love to watch esports is Mortal Kombat and Dragon Ball Z. Those are my favorite esports. I know there's a lot of big ones like Fortnite, Counter Strike, Hearthstone, there's Overwatch. So I know a lot of people love esports, and I'm glad esports is finally getting recognized. I also want to talk about the Mayans, because for some reason FX fired Kurt Suter, and he's the basically the writer for Sons of Anarchy, and real interesting because I know that they said that the reason why was a lot of people were complaining about him. Real interesting that they fired him. I gotta do more info on like what the people were complaining about, but that I think that's interesting, especially since Mayans season 2 is going on right now. That's interesting, you know, to fire him like that. But yeah, so real interesting. So I with the last and final topic I wanted to talk about is microtransactions. So I want to get, and this is gonna be a long one, guys. So tune in for this one because I'm gonna give my insight. I would have loved to get Big T Dog's insight on it too, because he is a big he was a big I mean he did purchase microtransactions, and so did I. So I want to give a little story about so how I got started with microtransactions, and then basically give my insight on why I don't like them to this day, like as of right now. So growing up, I would say growing up as a kid, but like younger, probably like early 2000s, game companies started introducing microtransactions, and it could have been going on earlier than that, but to my knowledge, so I would buy WWE games every year, and I would buy these things called time savers, and I would buy these DLC, basically the characters, the character packs they'll come out with to get additional WWE fighters. Excuse me, and probably like extra like showcase mode. So basically, showcase mode is WWE, just like a little story, just added onto to the mode, and I would buy that all the time, and I had no problem buying it because I was like, oh, the time saver was basically like my creative player, but like choosing them up to like 80 or 90, and without actually grinding and play the game. So you could purchase these things. I didn't realize that this thing was a bad thing until I actually got heavy into YouTube, and then people hearing like people like Angry Joe explain like why that's a bad thing. So and then I was like, oh, this is a bad thing, and I've been doing that for years already. Uh, so if you guys don't know about it, I'm gonna explain to you why it's a bad thing. So I play MLB The Show, and so MLB The Show has this thing is called stubs. It lets you buy packs in the game. And this is not just for MLB The Show. This is for FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, all types of sports games. And it's just not sports games in general. And but anyways, give you guys a little insight on it. So for 1,000 stubs, which is just to buy like a regular pack, it's probably different now. If you buy like probably one, so like $2 worth for a pack. Probably get like 2,000 stubs or 1,500. Don't remember how it is, but anyway, so they would have that for that one right there. They'll have a for 9.99 you get 10,000 stubs for and then it jumps from for 50 bucks you get 67 500. Wait, I said that wrong. Six yeah no 67,500 stubs. So that's enough to buy you probably like a 50 pack bundle of packs of cards. And then they had a hundred for $100 you probably get 120,000 stubs. But that's a bad thing because you're paying. So basically, if you pay for the $50 version, you're basically almost buying another game. So it's not a good deal at the end of the day. And then the rare chances of you, because in MLB the show, so the cards are like this. So it's basically it's a great, if it's a great card, it's called it. If it's under 50, it's a common. So then there's a silver tier, and so silver is just mediocre players. Gold is like decent players, like pretty good players, and then the cards that everybody wants is the blue tier, which is the diamonds. So basically, the chances of pulling a diamonds, I don't know the particular number, but this year is different because they boosted up the number, but it's super super rare. I know NBA 2K for 2K20 is tedious for the rare chances, and they got way different style in NBA 2K. Like they got different colors and different variations of these cards, and definitely not good. But if you guys want, you guys could follow like guys like Angry Joe, Young Ye, Layman Gaming. Like they do particularly into these subjects about these games. And I wanted to get you guys get my insight on it and to get you guys like that type of ideas because game studios are trying to take advantage of us. I know recently with Bethesda, they just announced basically so they had this thing. If you go watch one of Young's video, he talks about it how some studios purposely make the game grindy so you could buy these this mechanic called time savers. So so they purposely do that so you could keep buying these time savers so you don't really have to play the game. I know it sounds like something that's real uh worth it, but it's, trust me, it's not. It's just like it's additional money. You already paid 59.99 for this game. Some states charge tax, so you're probably paying 67 bucks for this game, and you still gotta add additional. You gotta pay more. I mean, this is it. It's ridiculous, and these studios are taking advantage of that. They're taking advantage of little kids. Some of these games are rated for everyone, even though, and then they're going telling their mom like, "Hey, can you, like Fortnite, for example, they had this thing where you're basically paying 25 bucks, and it's called V Bucks. So you're paying 25 bucks, and you're paying for this skin. It's a skin that a character has for 25 bucks. Are you kidding me? 25 bucks? But don't get me wrong, there are studios out there that do recognizes and call out other studios. Like for instance, CD Project Red, a coincidence. They made The Witcher, but The Witcher and CD Project Red and The Witcher, they give you 15 free DLCs before they charge for a for the story. And then it wasn't a lot to play the game, and basically the game's already as long as it is. So basically, almost 150 to 200 hours worth of gameplay. That's how you do it. Now, if you give me that much out of a game, I'll be happy to give you some money. But the fact that some of these games are barely, sometimes they're games that's even 5, 10 hours, and they charge you extra for DLC. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, not even worth my time. But there's a lot, and then there's a lot of people, a lot of journalists, not just journalists, but people who talk about games on certain websites. I don't want to call anybody out in particular, but they defend it. They just defend these studios because, like, I don't know if I said this before, but if a studio comes up to me and they want me to sponsor one of their games, especially like, because I don't care. I'm gonna make it known right now. I don't like EA. I don't like Bethesda. Bethesda's been really pushing it these last couple games that they came out with. Fallout 76 is probably one of the worst games of all time. Uh, EA with Anthem. Man, I could just keep going, but BioWare, man, it's crazy too because these were beloved game studios, but then they got greedy for some reason. Just don't understand why. It's just is why, especially when they say, "Oh, well, this is for the gamers," but they see half of the community complaining about it. Some gamers are so nonchalant, and they still, for some reason, defend these studios. I just don't understand why. Oh my god, but yeah, but like I said, man, I mean, this could get like way deeper, and then I would love to talk with somebody else who are like has the knowledge, and maybe somebody who probably tries to defend this. I understand why you're defending it, but that'll be interesting in the future, man. But I hope you guys liked this episode. That's all I got for you guys today. I like I said, we're gonna try to get Big T Dog back on in the future. But as of right now, I can't find until I find another alternative on how to get him back. It's just gonna be me from now on. But hope you guys enjoy this, man. And I see you guys. Oh, before I even go, I'm gonna talk about the giveaway. So my next video, I'm gonna do the giveaway. So you guys look out for that. Hope you guys have a wonderful day and see you guys later.